Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you're joining me from. Thank y'all so much for stopping by the live stream again. Really appreciate it. Shout out to Jacob Tanjay and the NTZ crew. I know Michael Beach of Life is going to be here. He's on here already. Sorry, guys. I saw him earlier. There he is. He says, checking in from Brown out Bahal. Yeah, that's one thing about Bahal and Sikihor and those little islands like that. They have a lot of brownouts, but I still love them. Shout out to the old heads. That's Jeffrey Tatter. Good morning, Cal, and the Sunshine Shows community. Tap the glittery thumbs up before being seated. It's highly encouraged to be chatty and respectful. Thank you, brother. Doubtful Genius, 53 Shades Darker. I got a email from Sharon Lapu Lapu. Wanted to know if you were okay. I guess you want to interview her. There's Elette Makata. And any new viewers and subscribers joining the live stream today, welcome to the live stream. And of course, those who are going to be joining us on replay. We always have a topic. The topic today is making the transition from the hamster wheel to retirement. I got that from a gentleman who came to the meet and greet. Name is Ray. Great guy from Las Vegas. And we'll talk about that. But of course, this is your live stream. We'll talk about whatever you want to talk about today. The peso is 56.67. Amazing, really. I'll take that any day of the week. I do want to say, I want to remind you guys that there's no blueprint for vacationing in the Philippines or relocating in the Philippines. I think a lot of y'all are trying to follow a blueprint. We all got different wants. We all got different needs. Some of us need that lady waiting at the airport. There's been several guys that come to visit me. They need that because I can't be a babysitter. They don't know what to do, and it's going to kind of go into the topic today. They have no clue. They don't know what to do. They just come over here and they just sit around. So yeah, there's no blueprint. So always remember that. I want to thank everybody again for coming to the meet and greet. You know, some guys made a special effort to get there. Derek Q and Jay, his guests, they came all the way from Lapu Lapu. Robert, Bob, and his girlfriend from Osamas. Of course, Geechee Lang came all the way from the United States. Ray from Darwin. It's very important, these meet and greets. You don't realize it. But Gail from Gale Force, our G5 family right in here, he lives in St. Carlos. You could tell that he was happy to be around some fellow expats and have some good conversation. He stayed there after everybody was gone, him and Bob. There's always somebody making a connection there too. Let's see what else I had on here. Yeah, we're going to pay a price. You know, the video I did yesterday about it's getting harder and harder to earn any money on YouTube as a Philippine vlogger, as a vlogger from the Philippines. And I was talking about Pumpkin Joe Philippine Experience quitting and getting out of the game. Guys, we're going to pay a price for every Pumpkin Joe that leaves the genre, man, because we take his information for granted. It's really important. He really gives us a bird's eye view of what's going on around here. These women channels that you guys are watching and following and supporting, you're not going to learn any more from their channel than you will the minute you get off the plane. I promise you that. It's just basic general stupidity stuff that they're putting out there. And we're going to pay a price. You know, instead of supporting guys like Pumpkin Joe, send him $2 or $3 in his PayPal. to keep him going, keep him motivated and want to keep going, we're sending all our money and support to these women who aren't doing a damn thing for you. Okay, but then when you have a problem, you come to us. So yeah, we're gonna pay a price, and I'm really sad about him leaving because he has a very important channel, believe it or not. Hey, Brandon Bonner. But yeah, I got this subject from Ray. He's from Darwin, and we were just talking. He's newly retired, 38 years on his, in his business, and he says all of a sudden he gets here, and now it's like, man, what am I supposed to do? I can get up and I can do anything I want to do. He said he's never been faced with that decision. And we were just talking because he said, well, he wanted some advice, and I was just giving him my boots on the ground experience, no advice. I was just saying one thing we can do, ladies and gentlemen, is just act as if it's the weekend. Get back into that mindset of what you were doing on weekend. Nobody was working 7 days a week over there, I'm sure. Or the mindset that you're on when you're on vacation. And just, you're on a permanent vacation. Hey, Jalal Rajab, he said, good morning from Bahrain. It's like, okay, you work 38 years, 40 years, whatever it is. What's the goal anyway? I mean, aren't we supposed to be working towards something? Working to a point where we don't have to work anymore, where we can relax and live life the way we want to live. But I would say, just replace one routine for another. I wouldn't panic because now you've got all the time in the world. This is what you worked all those years for. But some of us, our lifestyles dictate when we can retire because there's a lot of bills that go along with that. What's up, Ken? You said, good morning, Cal. Another thing we can do, and I learned this when I was in recovery, trying to stop drinking. They said, the first thing that we get rid of when we start drinking or getting high is our hobbies. And so I kind of turned that around and said, that's one of the first things that you get rid of, or you ignore or neglect when you start working all them hours and all those years, is your hobbies. Get back to that. He says he likes to play bass, guitar. Well, do that. Elette Makata says, Calvin, tell us who the fellas are in your thumbnail. I see togetherness. Yeah, it was a great group. There was Derek Q from Q Adventures, Ray from Darwin, he's from Vegas, Jay, I believe he's from Pennsylvania, up around New York. There was Gail from Gale Force G5. He lives here in St. Carlos City with his wife and 3 children. Of course, Geechee Line from Chicago. There was Bob from Texas. That was it, I believe. I hope I'm not leaving anybody out. And we did have some great conversation. The food is pretty good there. But I got some emails about Geechee Land. But, the thing is, he's learning. I'm going to teach him as much as I can because one thing I told him was, look, always remember where you are at all times. You're not in Chicago now. You're in the Philippines. It doesn't work the same way over here as it does in Chicago. I said, look, your stay here is going to be brief unless you calm down. I mean, he come out of the gate, and I'm like, look, you're not in Chicago. I mean, he blasted the Marwani Hotel in a review in one of his videos, and he's still staying there. And the people, I guess he had told the people he was a vlogger or whatever, but they're writing his comments. I'm like, dude, you can't do that, man. What's wrong with you? I'm not picking on him, but there's certain things you got to have common sense. If you're going to review a place, at least wait till you leave and you're no longer in town, you know. But they know that he was a guest of mine. So it kind of makes me look bad, you know. And I'm like, come on, guys. You know, it's just, we got to practice some common sense when we get over here. But one of the things is don't forget where you are. You're not in America and France and London, and sometimes the standards don't live up to your standards. They ain't gonna do you no good complaining. But you know, I understand all that. Yeah, I'm the only one there, and then you know he keeps referencing me on every video he does. And I just asked him, you know, calm down a little bit, man. You know, because excuse me, y'all, you just got here. Yeah, yeah, too forward. Yeah, yeah, pump the brakes. Yeah, but you got to know the ropes first a little bit. You know the ropes a little bit, guys. See, he's one of those guys that probably should have had a woman waiting for him at that uh, airport. Him, Mike from Texas. I had a guy, uh, Tony from South Carolina. Those type of guys, they need somebody waiting for them at that airport. Everybody doesn't need it, but some guys need that. Somebody that's going to be with them 24 hours a day and it's going to show them the ropes. They can hold their hand and say, hey, don't do this, don't do that. I don't have the time to do it. One Mike So Focus says, question Sunshine shows how much money is needed to expatriate. I had enough where I'm at. Well, it just depends. That's a question that no one really can answer, Mike. I would have a residual income over here, and the closer you are to getting your Social Security, I guess the less money you would need. But I don't know how old you are. I don't know what your lifestyle is. Where do you want to live over here? Are you going to be single? Are you going to be having a living partner, which a lot of people do? Are you going to live by the beach like Michael Beach Your Life? Are you going to live in San Carlos City, Cebu? Are you going to drive a motorcycle? What are you going to do? It's hard to say. If you get a good deal like Michael Beach Your Life has right now in Baal, and I had in Sikihor, you know, 12 to 1500, man, you in there. Because you're going to get an itch to do something and go somewhere. You're not just going to sit around the house. Yeah, and you know, I told him to cool down on that too, because if you plan on living here and retiring here, you don't want uh, any stalking charges or anything like that leveled against you. You know, I just say, hey man, cool down with that. You know, just calm down. Don't mention that woman anymore on your videos. I said, it's going to be trouble. I said, she's probably got a boyfriend, a family, or something. Somebody's going to turn them in your direction and see the creepy stuff you're saying and doing about her. And it's going to be a problem over here. You're not in America. I don't even think it would be acceptable there. But I think eventually he's going to be okay because his intentions are right. But he needs to be schooled a little bit more. A lot of you guys, y'all say, oh, we're watching you vloggers, we're listening, we're writing stuff down. But it's obvious when you get over here, you've forgotten everything. Because he's forgotten everything. that he claims he's been listening to all these years. Yeah. Hey, thank you. What's that? I'm sorry, man. I can't see. I'm on my phone. Okay, Hardy Bracks for that super sticker. But let's get back to the subject. Okay. Um, isn't the goal to stop working at some point and relax? How many years is enough? You know, when I got over here, man, and I'm going to do a video about it. You know, I quit $100,000 a year job to move to the Philippines. You know, I just got tired of working, man. I had worked for 40 years, and I really enjoyed my career. But toward the end, I couldn't stand it. I didn't want to get out of bed. And now that I'm in a situation where I'm no longer this materialistic fool that I was over there. I'm no longer chasing a dollar anymore. I have a whole lot more time. I'm really living a life I've always wanted to live, where I can dictate what I want to do, when I get up, where I'm going. There's no schedule. There's no, quotas or anything like that. I thought this is what everybody wanted, but some people, when they retire, they haven't been able to. I mean, for so many years, they were used to somebody else working on somebody else's schedule. That now, when it's their time, they say they don't know what to do. P Money says, I got my Insta 360 times 3 camera, and I'm just recording random stuff. Jacob Chante says he reminds me of that dark-skinned brother that has a channel there that was on your live a few times. I don't know who you're talking about. You said, Calvin, some guys lack social skills. Yeah, absolutely. That's a fact. And I think that's what it is. Hey, Al Rogan, thanks for that super chat. He said, Calvin, how much is cable television service? It's probably going, well, you can get cable and Wi-Fi for about 2,000 pesos. And, of course, they got different packages and stuff like that. But generally, I'm paying, I don't have cable. I have a smart television. We're paying 1,600 for 150 MPBS. Is that how you pronounce it? So yeah, it's going to cost you about $35 with the exchange rate being what it is, Al. Also, if I were you, I'd bring a Fire Stick over here. That would be the way to go. A good friend of mine, man, he gave me one, man. I can watch anything I want right now. I'm watching college football, NFL. I can watch it all. Now, I can watch my local news. He's got it hooked up, man. I can do it all. So, yeah, that would be a good thing to do, too. Johnny S. says, at Travis Gibson, it is deposited in your U.S. bank and then you withdraw it. Okay. Tom Freeman says, I hate these expats who are an embarrassment back home. They come to the Philippines and all of a sudden they are these larger than life rich bachelors with all the answers, embarrassing the rest of us. Yeah, there's a lot of that going on over here. But most of the expats I meet are great people. But you do get some guys over here that, they need to be sat down and taught the rules. Because you can't just let them run rampant over here. They're going to get in trouble. He made a scathing. He was really talking down on Malwani and the people sitting there writing his comments. And he's still staying at the hotel. I'm like, you can't do that. Okay? That's not normal to do. Hey, Happy Man 6920 said, good evening, Shine and the Sunshine Shoulders crew. I hope that Lion is having a great time traveling to the Philippines. I'll be seeing you soon. He will. He eventually is going to calm down. If not, His stay here is going to be very brief. You can't be as blunt as he's being, And I just said, hey, calm down, man. Like I said, he's got good intentions. Yeah, the fire stick is it's a great idea. I mean, this guy was what? He's like a techie. He's an educator anyway. Anyhow, he gave me his. It's already programmed. You got everything on it, man. See, I love documentaries and stuff like that. He went through and showed me everything. But yeah, a lot of guys, they come over here, they retire 40 years at the post office, 30 years at the factory. You may have your own business. Now, all of a sudden, you have to manage your own time. You have all that free time and you don't know what to do with it. Start number one with your hobbies, man. Now, first, I would say just, sit back and take a deep breath and just, relax, man. Don't panic. Hell, this is a good thing to be retired, to jump off that damn hamster wheel that kills so many of us, man. That hamster wheel is a bad boy. Y'all don't realize it because we get caught up in it. We're paying off the mortgage, paying off the big car, the fancy jewelry, the credit cards. Hey, Mr. X says the lion is wired strongly in his own way and it's obvious. That can be a great thing if he has a good heart and listens more than he speaks. He's a good guy, really, but he has to know the rules over here. That's all it is. Okay. And some guys need that woman at the airport. I'm not saying everybody does, but he does. He needed somebody there. Him and a few other guys I've met over here. It's just going to make their transition over here a whole lot easier. I mean, because you can't just continue to look at YouTube videos. You're here already. We had that discussion at the meet and greet. Bob from Texas, he said, man, since I've been here, I don't even watch YouTube videos anymore. And I said, yeah, that's the point. You're here. It's reality now. It's no longer a fantasy. I wouldn't watch them either. But they claimed that they was watching all these videos all these years over the lockdowns and stuff. But then they get over here and it's like they've never watched one video. DeMarco Smith said, Cal, I'm 24 years old. Do you think the Philippines is for young men? It's for everybody. I mean, why not come over here for vacation? I mean, I don't understand that question. Of course it is. Now, would you want to come over here and relocate if you had a good job? Are you a digital nomad or something? Because I met a young guy. He was a Londoner. I met him in Cebu. And he was bouncing around. He was like in his early 30s, maybe 32 or something. I can't remember. But he was really young. And he said, Calvin, I was bouncing all around Southeast Asia, mostly Thailand and everything. He said till I came to the Philippines, and then with their immigration laws, he said, I just stayed here. He said, I might as well just stay here for 6 months. He enjoyed Cebu. He said he liked it. He was staying in Horizon 101, then he eventually moved to IT Park. Hey, W Secret to Success, thanks for that super chat. He said, that was a hell of a game, USC in Colorado. Cal, I know you were watching. Yeah, but you got to realize something, guys, okay? USC was never in threat of losing that game, all right? So all of you guys that, you're not in, if you know football, man, you got to understand that that was a good game because I always like to see a comeback. But USC was not going to lose that game. See, I'm going to give you the nitty gritty. Here's what's going on, okay? Everybody's so focus on Dion. These coaches know that too. You see what happened to the Oregon coach. They're not going to run up the score. Okay, they're taking it easy on Dion because they're going to be labeled racist and all that. Man, I don't want to watch that kind of football. Run the damn score. The man threw for 6 touchdowns. You don't think he could have threw for 6 more? He probably could have. They took the foot off the gas. Here comes Colorado back, but their defense just isn't good enough. And everybody acts as if USC's secondary wasn't questioned all week, and their defense wasn't questioned. Okay, we're going to see. And remember, boxing is a lot like football. You know, you'll put 2 boxers together, and he'll easily beat one guy. But then you put him in with somebody else you think he's going to easily beat, and he gets his butt kicked. It's all about matchups. Okay, and watch next week against Arizona State. But remember, they lost, guys. Okay, that's all I'm saying. You know, some questionable play calling on Colorado's part toward the end of that game on that last drive. You know, come on, guys. You know, we're idolizing Deion Sanders, so you're not seeing clearly. Okay, their defense has given up 9-0 points. 90 points in the last 2 weeks. They're not going to win a lot of games doing that. That game was never in question. They took their foot off the gas. That's all they did. And remember, they was already talking about USC's defense all week. Look at the other games they played. That's why people was like, oh, they're soft 4-0 before they played Deion them. But, you know, I like the underdog, but I'm not. I mean, I've been watching football my whole life. I played it. You know, I'm just trying to just be unbiased, man. You guys are just biased. It's like you're not seeing the real deal. Retired 29 said, DeMarcus at 24, I would be building my wealth and not focus on anything else. John Morrison says, I'm using RCA amplified HD antenna, 55-mile range. He says, what are the main things? Well, the number one thing is a income that's going to support you over here, money. You're 8,000 miles from home. Okay, and then sort of like what we're talking about now, the transition, we're talking about now you've got all this free time. How are you going to manage that? You're going to just substitute one routine for another. You sacrifice something when you were working all those years. All you got to do now is figure out, well, what did I throw to the side for my job? And then go back to that. I mean, there has to be a goal that you're working toward. The minute you accept that job and you stay on the job for 30 years, there's got to be an out game. I mean, what are you going to do? Work till you die? Yeah, but make sure you got some money, Mike. Yeah, Al Rogan said, Expat John said, don't come without a steady income. That's what I'm saying. Don't do it. I wouldn't. Mookie says, hey, Cal, what beach city has the most foot traffic as far as tourism? I'm going to say Boracay, and then I'm going to say Palawan, probably Puerto Princesa. It's just so many beaches here, man. But, you know, just to answer your question and keep it simple, Boracay, certainly. Yeah, I told him to calm down on that. Yeah, it wasn't close as the score. You know, they were never in jeopardy of losing that game. And you got to realize now, USC's coming up there in Colorado. Colorado players are used to playing up there now and practicing in that thin air. Have anybody ever been to Colorado before and worked out or anything like that? You'll see what I'm talking about. But they never was in any jeopardy of losing that game, man. You know, watch when he play. They've got Washington State, Arizona State, Utah, these teams are hungry. They're not going to be like USC. You know, and people say, "Oh, we'll wait till next year." It's not going. He's already raped the portal. There's only so many players that you can have on that roster. They keep saying, "Well, they're coming." Well, where's he going to get them from? He's ranked 73rd. 69 in recruiting. Open your eyes, guys. You know, he's still recruiting against the Georgias, the Alabamas, the USCs, the Oregons, and all that. It's not like they just sat back and let him have the best players. You know, it's exciting, man. College basketball, football, needed this story, really. But y'all are overplaying it, man. It's like, y'all not even dealing with reality. Okay. Yeah, that's going to be a good fight. That's what everybody's saying. But boxing reminds me of football. It's all about matchups, man. You know, Arizona could have easily put 81 points on Deion last week, but they know if they do that, they are going to come out and say, "Oh, it's racism. There's a conspiracy against Deion." There's no need. It's so hard to win at that level consistently. There's no conspiracy needed. You know, this guy's getting millions and millions of dollars. He says, "Am I going to watch the fight?" If I'm able to, but I don't know if I can watch it on that. I'm gonna try to stream it because that's basically what that Fire Stick is. It's a bunch of streams. I'm gonna just click on them. That's what he told me until I can get one. Yeah, there ain't no moral victories, man. Yeah. Well, somebody wants some money on that. That's for sure. You know, Louisville, my home team, they was crap last year. They're 5-0. Kentucky's 5-0. Who else is 5-0? It's a lot of good stories, but they're being overshadowed. They made this Deion thing out of a racial thing. That's why I don't like America. I got out of there, man. Everything is race. Man, he's playing with the big boys. Now, y'all got him afraid to really play him. I don't want to see a football game where you're not going to give everything you got because you're afraid of what the media is going to say, what the people are going to say. Come on, man. Okay, bad boy. Yeah, but yeah, it's gonna be fun, but it wouldn't have made a difference. When I shut my phone down last night, the score was 41-14. It was basically over. It was 34-7, then 41-14. I thought, "Oh, this is over," you know. But you got to realize playing up there in that thin air like that, because Deion's defense is not going to stop anybody for real. These coaches, man, remember USC was without their number one receiver. Brandon Rice is not their number one receiver. But, it's when you are dealing with people who don't want to look at reality, that you're just idolizing Deion Sanders, then nothing I say is ever going to make sense to you. There were some questionable calls toward the end of that game. And guess what? Look at the press conference. Nobody asked Deion about that because they're afraid. They're dealing with him with gloves on. Take the damn gloves off. He's getting millions and millions of dollars. Okay? to do that. Hey, W Secrets to Success. He says, "Good game. Didn't mean to get you all fired up." No, I'm not fired up, man. I stay like this, but I've just had enough because it's all on my YouTube screen. It's all in the newspaper. You can't do anything else. And I can obviously see through the foolishness. Thanks for that super chat. And anybody with common sense can see through it. Now it's become a racial thing over there. Everything's race. So these coaches, they don't even want to play him now because they're afraid if they beat him too bad, oh, it's a conspiracy. You know, you're racial and all of that. Come on, guys. Hey, Uncle Buck, he said, morning, Cal. How are you, my brother? I'm back in Australia, back to the real world, back to work. Catch you in about 6 months, Cal. Cheers for the stay, Shane. Hey, brother Shane. Thank you, man. Be safe on that hamster wheel. But when I transitioned from the I was thankful when they stopped that damn hamster wheel. I jumped off that thing. I was fully packed, had all my bags packed. I wasn't looking back. I sold my damn hamster wheel. You know, I wasn't sitting there like, well, what am I going to do now? I already knew what I was going to do. And surely wasn't going to jump back on another hamster wheel. Yeah, I would say when you get off that hamster wheel, I would say take a deep breath, enjoy it, and say, oh man, you know, look back and, you know, pat yourself on the back and say, you know, I did it. Now it's another chapter in my life. You don't have to rush. You don't have to panic. I mean, now, you know, hell, this is what you worked all those years for. Patrick Blackrock Money says, sad part of life is when a slave doesn't even know he's a slave. Got free and don't know what to do with his freedom. God helped him. Yeah, and that's a perfect analogy because a lot of us are like that. At some point, you're going to have to stop working, man. You know, how many years is enough? Right. Gerald Stillpot says, working till you die is how much of Western working class life is structured. Yeah. Jobs don't pay enough to plan for long-term future. It's easy to spend 30 years treading water. Yeah. But when you're able to get out, you should be like, woo, I made it. Thank the Lord. Don't sit there like with your head in your hand telling me, well, what am I going to do now? Do whatever the hell you want to do. Yeah, that's what I would do. There is no rules now. Yeah, if you want to sleep to 12, sleep to 12. If you want to get up early, go fishing or whatever it is, do that. But I don't know. Hell, I'm going to tell you something. If not, go back to work. W Secrets of Success Block said, yeah, I've been there many times in Colorado. Yeah, you got to train for that. You got to be ready for that. Yeah, Craig Anthony. So you're not going to have any problem. If me and you went racing, you're going to beat me eventually. We race 10 times, you're probably going to beat me 8 out of 10 because that thin air is going to get me eventually. It's going to be hard for me to breathe. Yeah, he said being in high altitude is just like COVID. He says, I'm touching down in 2 weeks and have a few girls coming to the airport to pick me up. Some guys need that. Some guys don't. Alan Fish says you truly have to pay to access the beaches in Cebu. Only the nice part of those beaches that are on these resorts like Blue Water, White Sands Beach Resort. See, they have their own private beaches and they're white sand, they're clean. These little stretches of beach. And it's like 1,000 pesos entrance fee. But 300 or 400 of that goes towards your food. So when you go in, if you want to get something to eat and it's 400 pesos, that's, you don't pay for it. But they're nice, See, that's what changed about Cebu from 2009 to now. When I went to Lapu-Lapu, I stayed at the Tamboli Beach Resort. They had a nice beach front. But it's very few real beaches in Cebu and Lapu-Lapu. They're those public beaches and they're really bad. You have to go out to like Bantayan Island, Comodes Island, Aslab, Wall. You got to go to all those places. Malapascua. You got to travel to get to those places. Yeah, drop a like. Mr. X has been through it, sleeping overnight, left before day in the morning. Yes, it's a difference. Parked a little too far away to be comfortable. He's wanting Charlo. Yeah. Styles make fights. Same with football teams. You'd be like, well, I thought USC was better than Oregon. But Oregon's defense is a whole lot better than USC's. So of course, and that was the whole story the whole week. It's not like people haven't been watching television. You've been watching. And now they'll take a loss as a victory, man. Y'all a bunch of crazies, man. There's no such thing as a moral victory. Well, I just try to help people the best I can. I really don't do any consultations, because the bottom line is people don't listen anyway. There's a guy over right now who's been watching YouTube for over 3 years. He's lost over here. But yeah, put my email up and I can answer some of your questions. BT Gang says, I get $2,050 SSI and $40,000 saved. What area do you suggest? I would come into Cebu first and get my feet wet. It's a lot smaller and it's a lot less congested than Manila. That Metro Manila can swallow new guys up and give you the wrong impression of the Philippines. You be ready to go home. But Cebu is a lot more adaptable, just in my humble opinion. You can wet your feet there and then, go to Dumaguete, 4 hours away, Bahal, and different places like that. When you're on Cebu, see, you got all those places on Cebu Island that you can visit before you ever leave the island. All those names I just talked about. And you got to understand, BT Gang, do you want to live by the water or do you want to live in the city? You want to live in the province? What do you want to do? See, when you're new coming over here to the Philippines or anywhere like that, to make the transition easier, I would go to one of the expat alley cities. Subic Bay, Clark, Angeles City, Metro Manila, Cebu, Davao, Dumaguete, Cagayan de Oro, Bacolod, like that, General Santos, even Zamboanga. That way you'll get Wi-Fi, you'll have the big malls, you'll have the public transportation and all that. You have a lot of other expats to talk to. But to answer your question, I would go to Cebu. He said, I'm watching on my Fire Stick now. The fight? Yeah, but, Deion Sanders needs front line people. See? Everybody keeps saying, oh, well, they were 1-11 last year. No, they weren't. This is a whole different team he's playing with. He got rid of just about 90% of that team. It would be more impressive if he was winning and doing all of this with that same team, like most coaches do, but he's not doing that. He brought in his own, foundation, and he's building from there. It's going to be harder, believe it or not. I would have kept some of them big ass linemen. I tell you that. Yeah. Well, we'll see if that's going to help. He's going to need a lot more than 2. Okay. No, he doesn't get a lot of. It's not Deion that we're tired of. We're tired of the idol worshipers. Deion's no different, man. There's other black coaches that are undefeated, David, in the NCAA right now. with big teams like that. Deion has nothing to prove. Black people know how to coach, okay? That's an old story. This is what I'm talking about. You know, there's no conspiracy against Deion Sanders. Nobody's hating on him. If you know anything about football, at that level, it's hard. You don't need anybody to conspire against you, okay? But y'all made it our racial thing. And that's why I don't like it over there. Everything's race. Hell, they would. Do you realize that Boulder, Colorado's 1% black and they gave him the job? I mean, if you want to talk about race, they gave a black man the job. Julio Gonzalez says, I got my wake-up call after Hurricane Ian last year. Boots on the ground in Cebu. December 3rd, lost 50 pounds, getting in shape. Thanks for the inspiration and the info, Cal. Oh, man, yeah, thanks. Now, Hurricane Ian last year, where was that? Was that in America or was that here? No, sit down, booby. Because I know the last hurricane here that really hit in the Visayas region was Odette, December 2021. Yeah, the media has made it about race to increase the readership. I'm just saying that, you know, it's always about that, man, and that's what muddies the water. BT Gang says, I want to be a 4M, but I need your help. I'm sending you money next round. But I think we're all a 4M to a certain extent. That's another story that's been beat to death. It's a game being played over here. Just come and play the game. That's all. You know, it won't be so complicated. But if you come over here thinking these women want you for your good looks and your intelligence, you got a long way to go. And they're talking about, oh, what about the blonde hair, blue eyed guys? There's very few of them over here. What you mostly seeing is these overweight guys, you know, that's past their prime, just average guys like me. And that's okay. Jacob Thompson said he needs 8 dogs. Yeah, he needs more than that. Well, you know, every coach says that because you have to keep on replenishing every year. This isn't Deion is not some genius, guys. Stop it. Every coach says that. Every coach needs new dogs every year. Yeah, that Manila cow, they're going to get you. So that's why I say, but I'm going to tell you, to be honest with you, these damn taxis in Cebu is getting just as stupid, right? I mean, really. And I'm going to tell you something else. Them damn tricycle drivers in Dumaguete are getting stupid. You know, Kamal says in 2009, I passed out after a successful physical fitness mile test south of Denver. Great point about how elevation. Yeah, you know, if people think that didn't affect USC, they're crazy. And this whole racial aspect is messing with these. It's already gotten to the mind of these white coaches, man. They're not going to run up the score on Deion. They're going to take off the gloves. They're not going to do it, man. You see what the guy from Oregon, all he was doing was firing up his team like any other coach, and all of a sudden, it's a conspiracy against Deion. That man could have easily scored 81 points on Deion last week. You guys don't get it. They're scared now. Yeah. Travis Gibson says, what I struggle with is these are my prime earning years. I make 8 times what I made in my 30s. Now, how old are you, Travis? Because this is what I'm going to talk about on my video where I said, you know, I quit over $100,000 a year career to move to the Philippines. I left a lot of money on the table over there. because you can't spend money when you're dating. You know, that was my problem. See, I grew up poor. Well, I grew up broke. We wasn't poor. Poor is a mindset. Broke is when you just don't have the money. We didn't stop. We was always trying. So I grew up broke by American standards. So I was always chasing money. And I idolized people who had money. It didn't matter if it was the dope dealer, the business owner, the celebrity. That was all I seen in my mind. So I had to chase that. For 40 years, I chased it. And I got burnt out on it. And one day I woke up, I didn't even want to go to work. You know, so now I'm over here. I don't have a car. I don't have any jewelry. I don't have a suit. I don't have anything in my house over $300. You know, am I saying be irresponsible? No, I need money to live, but that's not my focus anymore. Chasing money will kill you, man. S1 Philly Vibe said, my first Jeepney ride was super tight, but less expensive. Yeah. My 510 squeeze. Yeah. A lot of people, you know, I talked about that, but we're not going to ride those Jeepneys. They're too slow. Now, if you're in the province and they got that one Jeepney that's going to take you to town and you don't have a choice, okay, but most of the time you're not going to get in that Jeepney unless it's just a novelty. You just want to do it because, man, it's a tight squeeze in there. It's super duper slow. It stops every 5 feet, literally. And that's why people are trying to get rid of them in Manila because it bogs down the traffic. When you got a whole bunch of them, I'm talking about they literally stop for everybody that they think is trying to get a ride. I knew the first time I ever went to the Philippines, I wasn't riding these things. I rode them one time. The hell with that. Yeah, Jeepney was 12 pesos. Now they've got the new ones in Cebu and some of these different places. They just look like a mini bus. Now I ride those. That's not the real Jeepney Geechee line that you're talking about. That's the new Jeepney. We're talking about these old tank-looking things from World War II and all that. Yeah, you didn't ride the real Jeepney, man. You as big as you are, I think you said you were 6 foot. Come on, booby. You would have a hard time riding in a real Jeepney, man. He said, Calvin, you were raving about those Merles you wore on that walk and saying how great they were. What model were they? Well, they're outside. These were waterproof. No, they're the real deal. I'm so angry about these Nikes. I'm going to tell you why. I'm not angry so much as the Nike, but I'm angry about the Nike, you know, store here in Bacolod. Don't you know I paid 8,595 pesos for those shoes? And the soles are coming apart on both sides. I'm going to have to take them down here tomorrow and let one of these people here sew my damn soles back on my feet. I'm so mad because in America, I could take those things back and exchange them or something, right? But here you can't do that. I mean, they're literally, I'm going to show you, man. I'm so angry. I'm pissed. I got to show you this. Because I don't want anybody else to get done like that. Look at this. It's coming loose from the damn sole, man. I just bought these things. They're not even 3 weeks old. But I'm going to tell you something. I should have known better because, okay, I got it off the display. And it took them forever to find the other mate to it. I mean, it took like an hour. I'm sitting there wondering, like, wow, what's going on? They finally get these things are old, and I'm just so mad, man. Every time I look at them, man, because I know I can't get my money back. I can't take them back. You have to be really, really careful, man. He said those are Ike, not Nike. No, they're from the real Nike store. This big fancy place in, I want to say, Ayala Mall in Bacala. See, this is going against my instinct. My instinct was to go to Cebu with my lazy butt and get the Brooks shoes. Okay? Oh, man. He says, I'm 6'1" and crawled in a jeepney. Everyone had a good laugh, and my neck was killing me, man. Look, I'm 5'8", and I can't fit in a jeepney. You're going to keep hitting your head on the top of that metal-ass thing, and some of these tricycles are that way, too. And, you hit your head right here, man, it hurts. Yeah, the traditional jeepney is 1212 RV says. And the modern jeepney, see, they call it a jeepney, but it's really nice. It's like a miniature bus, aircon and everything. That's not a jeepney, but they call it that. But I'm talking about the real Filipino jeepney. But he was only there a week. I'm pretty sure he didn't see anything, even though he was set up right over there by Mango Square. Yeah, this is his first time international. He's been to Mexico, but that don't count. It doesn't count, guys. Clint Dow says, I took the jeepney almost every morning in Palawan. Yeah. See, when you're in those places like that, it's different, though, Clint. He said, a jeepney hit my motorcycle yesterday in front of our store. Thank God for CCTV. So what do you think they're going to pay? They're going to pay you for that or what? He said, that's going to be an adventure, yeah. But is anybody on here having a hard time making the transition from the hamster wheel to retirement? Now, I know, see, there's a lot of people out there like my sister. She retired at 67, my oldest sister, but had to go back to work at 70 because of her mortgage. It just wasn't enough. So her lifestyle dictated that she go back to work. And people always say, well, I'm bored. Man, there's so much stuff that you can do. I mean, I thought that was the whole point of working all those years and, and getting the Social Security and all that so you can travel. And see, when you come over here, you don't have to stay in the Philippines. You can go to Thailand. I see where Philippines in full effect. Him and his wife was in Thailand. They just came back from Vietnam. Listen to me, guys. You don't have to just come over and stay stuck in one place. Cambodia, Indonesia. It's so many places over here that you can just go and see. And then, of course, travel around the Philippines. But to come over here and say, oh, I'm bored, I don't know what to do. See, a lot of people over here who say they're lonely, man, they just really don't have the right company with them, if you know what I mean. If I'm new over here, that's one thing I'm going to say. It doesn't mean that you have to let them move in with you or anything like that, but you need a friend over here. She can show you the ins and outs a whole lot better than any expat. And it's a whole lot more fun when she does it, okay, than when I do it. We're not talking about getting married or anything like that, ladies and gentlemen. We're just talking about having a tour guide like that. that wants to teach you your first words of Tagalog, of Bisaya, and all of that. You know, okay. Yusuf Amal Beef says, I'm trying to figure out if passive monthly income of 3,000 Canadian dollars is reason to retire overseas. If I stay in Canada, I have to work forever just to pay taxes. Now, what would that? So, what's the conversion between how many US dollars is that, Yusuf? That would help me more. Yeah, Joe T says, I won't retire there, but plan to live part time. John says, I'm going to start the Social Security once I get back to the USA. Yeah, traveling, you know what, especially over here, it's really not that bad. It just makes it a whole lot more fun when you have somebody with you and you're traveling around, you know, especially until you get your feet wet, until you kind of, you know, they'll show you around the best they can because a lot of them don't even travel. But if you're in Cebu and she's from Cebu, she can at least show you Cebu, where to get you a place and all of that. I wouldn't come over here and be lonely. I was lonely at home. I'm not going to be lonely over here. There's Mark Mack, my buddy from Vegas. Now, Ray's from Vegas. I don't know what part of Vegas. He said, hello, Cal and Sunshine Shoulders family. He said, how often do you have your meet and greets? Wife and I plan on being there late December to late January. Thanks. We're trying to have one once a month. But people don't seem to understand how important it is. You don't have to even be a subscriber, man. You don't even have to watch my channel. We're just trying to bring expats together once a month just to speak our language, really. This is what Filipinos do overseas. Okay? It's something that's needed. Go 6 months, okay, just like, okay, my buddy Gail, G5, I'm not picking on him. You could tell that he doesn't talk to a bunch of expats. You know, he was really enjoying himself, having some good conversation about only things we can talk about. Maryland don't even know who Donald Trump is for real, or something like that. You know, Maryland don't know who Deion Sanders is, and you know who Charlo and the big fight tonight. Yeah, you could live. Mr. T says, Mr. Calvin. Hey, say hi, Calvin. Do you think a budget of 3,500 is enough to retire on in the Philippines? Absolutely. The Philippine Statistics Authority says that if you earn $3,808 per month, US dollars, in the Philippines, you're considered rich, Mr. T. It didn't say, oh, you can make it over here. So 3,500, you're right there, really. You're considered rich over here. Now, would you spend all that 3,500? You'd be hard pressed unless you were in BGC some damn where. Geechee Land says, Calvin, which is the best beach you endorse near Cebu City? I'm anticipating going October 9th with a companion. Want to get logistics and most. Well, you know, it's all up and down. Okay, when you're in Cebu, you can either go north or south. I would say go to Bantayan Island. It's about a 3-hour bus ride and then another 45-minute ferry ride. I mean, that's a really, really nice place to take a companion. Okay. Or you could go on a little further north to Malapascua. Or go down south to Malboal. But I would say go to Bantayan Island. It's a really basically a straight shot. Hey, Lynn. Okay, it's getting 41 pesos to the Canadian dollar. Okay. So yeah, he's looking at about 200,000 per month. Dave Lee says, Cal, what would you advise a guy like you coming? I'm 40 years old, and in 10 years, I'll be able to retire with a $4,000 a month pension, but I'm so lonely, burned out, I'm overstressed. Yeah, since you can't retire right now, there's a lot of places nearby the United States you can go for rest and relaxation. And then, you know, hell, Jamaica, Dominican Republic, Mexico. I mean, you're a young man. Hell, you're 40 years old. I mean, you literally have your whole life ahead of you. What's stressing you out, man? Are you smoking, drinking, getting high? What are you doing? Mr. Passport King says, I'm not bored after being stressed the F out at a job. I'm relaxing and doing whatever I want and whenever I want. That's the whole point, I thought, of being retired. But evidently it's not. Evidently, people get so tied into that hamster wheel that's all they know. That it becomes their life. So when they finally jump off or it stops and kicks them off, because sometimes we're forced to retire, it's like, well, what am I supposed to do now? Well, whatever you want to do. Use this $1 billion muscle up here. Imagine if you had enough money, especially when you move to a place like Thailand or the Philippines or Cambodia, where your money goes so much further, and you're literally able to do whatever you want to do, whenever you want to do it, wherever you want to do it. How could you be bored? I don't understand that one. But I would start by just acting as if I'm on vacation. Everybody gets a week or two vacation over there. Just act like you're on vacation and just keep on going. When Monday comes and say, okay, well, I'm on vacation again. If you have to do that, act like it's the weekend forever. Do whatever you were doing on the weekend. I can't wait. I couldn't wait, man. I'm telling you, I could not wait. It says Portugal archipelago is a great place to unwind. Try the island of Fungal. Sam Safari says CD is paying 5% annually now, but as inflation goes down, interest rates will come down to 1% again prior to COVID. Then what are you going to do? Oh, okay, he must be talking about somebody. Yeah, they did. Roger and Ishmi did a tour of Bentine Island. Pretty good video. Yeah, I've been there several times. It's nice. Bahal, he says, is not far from Cebu. Yeah, great point, Clint Dow. It's actually closer than Bentine Island. Go to Geechee Land, go to Ocean Jet at Pier 1, buy you and your companion a ticket to Tagbilaran, Bohol. Takes about 1 hour and a half to get there, then catch the tricycle for another 400 to your hotel in Pang Lao and have a good time. Excuse me. Yeah, but you can go to Bohol too. DJ Lloyd Buck says, howdy, Cal. I'm on an epic road trip currently in Salina, Kansas, the middle of the USA, in my travel trailer. Wow. Glad to catch your show. Then what do you have? Do you actually have a RV, or do you have a fifth wheel, or what do you have? No, it's 3,800. But hell, 2,800, if 3,800 elect or Elliot, it's rich. Shit, 2,800 would be, you would be the upper middle class here as a single woman. If you had 2,800 over here, what couldn't you do over here? And your rent's going to be about 300 of that. then I don't know. I mean, if you had 2,800 free and clear, this is what I try to stress to everybody. Don't say, "Oh well, my retirement check is 3,500." If half of that is going on bills over where you live, if you have 3,500 free and clear, that's a whole different story. But that's a lot of money over here. But I'm just saying, I don't know if he's really met a woman yet. I sure haven't seen her. He's been with me every day, but that's not hard to do. This is what I was suggesting to him, because he's not a bad looking guy. He's got a pension. He's breathing. I mean, I already showed him. We saw a guy. We were walking one morning, like the first morning he got here, and we see a guy. This guy had to be in his 80s. He could not even bend over to take his slippers off. The young lady had to do it, and he had a little honey pie with him. But you got to get out of your own way. You can't be afraid to, you know, get on the dating site and say, "Hey, come on, meet me at Mile for dinner or something." They're gonna come. You know, they're gonna come. I mean, it's not. Uh, you would think when you saw that man, like that would be the exception. That's the rule. But they're not just going to jump on your back, man. I told him, just like I told Ray, I said, look, now that you're in the Philippines, if you're going to go online, this is the best time to do it. There's good women online. Now you can sift through all that bullshit, man, that you have to deal with over in America. You can take your time. And then you can say, hey, meet me at Ayala if you want, if you're serious. She's going to come. Okay? Literally, guys, it's the easiest thing that I've ever done was to get online and meet a woman here because it's different than over there. There's a game being played over here. They want you to want them, you know, but you got to get out of your own way. And most of us, we won't do that. We're afraid. Yeah, it's not what he thought. Even Mike could have had somebody. But, if you can't talk to a woman, remember they speak English. They want to be wined and dined and, oh, you're so beautiful. And, they want to hear what you think about them, what you're going to do for them, like any other woman. But it's literally the easiest thing I've ever done when it comes to dating was to get an account. I could get on an account right now with my eyes closed and meet a nice looking, attractive woman. Okay. It's already set up for us to do that. But, a lot of these guys, they don't want to do it. Said, did Calvin get his poem? I mean, did Geechee get his poem? Yeah, a couple of older women is liking Geechee already. I think Marilyn's mother's kind of finding him attractive. Joe Wilkins said, Calvin, there are several vlogs on YouTube where people are traveling, boondocking, and other travel considerations. They are converting ambulances, trailers, RVs, trucks, vans, and other vehicles. I met a guy actually right before my guest house was complete. He was from Dumagetti. He was a foreigner. I want to think he was from Oregon or somewhere out there. He had converted a utility truck into an RV. It was nice. But, he lost me when he started talking about how rich he was and this and that. But he really did do a hell of a job on that. He converted that RV. And he was traveling all over the Philippines, and he came through here, and he wanted to meet me. So I said, okay. So we had lunch at McDonald's, but it was really nice the way he had that set up. Well, see, I can't, I can't do it because I tried to do it with uh, another gentleman. It's just when those guys go online, they don't know what to look for. They're going after these Instagram models. And I'm like, they're not real. These aren't real profiles. You got to be able to know what the real profiles are from the fake ones. You have to know when a woman is a real profile on there. And that just comes from being on there a while. More than likely, she's not going to be um, online when you check in, because that's a red flag. But no, I'm not going to do that because, okay, me and Marilyn, we were going to the gym yesterday, and we passed up a lady. She wants me to interview her. I guess she's like early 40s. She's a nice, attractive woman. She works for the government here. I wasn't going to do it at first, but, the more I look at her, the more I say, well, she's probably a serious woman. I mean, it would be, I just don't want to do that kind of stuff because if it goes wrong, then they're going to place the blame on me. Yeah, but I'm shy too, Frank. I mean, King Arthur, I'm shy too, but they're much more shyer and much more bashful. I mean, but you can text stuff, man. That's where you see what the dating sites are really good for is breaking the ice. You still have to meet the woman. Okay, it's just the same as anywhere else, but it gives you the chance to break the ice. So you're sitting there, you're chatting with her back and forth. Now you can say the things you really want to say because she's not really in front of you. So it doesn't matter how shy you are. So that way you get it, it's already set up. So when you meet, it's like, oh, okay, she sit down, you order food, blah, blah, blah. And then you already know you're going back to the hotel, to the beach, or wherever you're going. It's not like you have to go up to them and introduce yourself. 99% of us don't get women like that over here. They're online, and I think, it's set up like that. I think it's set up on purpose like that. They're saying, hey, if you want to meet a Filipino woman, you got to go online. I really don't know, but I'm saying that the Steve that walked the last 2 days with me on the walks, he met his girlfriend. She wasn't online. He met her on the ferry. But see, Steve is Steve. He's like that. A lot of guys, like you say, they're too shy. They're not going to say. They're not going to pull up a conversation with a woman, even though it's real easy to do. Oh yeah, it's the rule. So watch some videos. With these girls, 70 years old is okay, and they're 18 and up, because a lot of times they're more mature than what they really are. And sometimes they just look, let's be honest, guys, they don't have a choice for a lot of them. Now, I'm not trying to put anybody down. I didn't create the circumstances over here, you know, but I am telling you that that's um, you know, that's the way it is. And he says, agreed, don't get involved with matchmaking. Thanks for that super chat. No, I won't do it because it's always going to be my fault. I'm always going to be in the middle. And then another thing is, we've done that before. Okay, at my meet and greet, a lot of times they'll meet at the meet and greet. the women that come in there looking, I won't say any names, but the woman came in looking for a foreigner. She said, any of these foreigners single? And we pointed her toward him, and they together now, you know. But it's not rocket science, and that's what a lot of us are doing. That we're making it rocket science when it's not. He said, meeting Filipinos face to face is the best and so easy. Yeah, but see, a lot of guys aren't going to do that. They just don't have the nerve to do it. They'll tell you that. Okay. And then, you really don't know what's playing in people's mind. Because a lot of us, remember, we were talking about prostate cancer, we were talking about health issues. A lot of men have those issues when they come over here, and you don't know it. It's none of my business. And that may be a reason why some of them are hesitant to jump out there like that. You'll be like, man, why you in the Philippines and you're not with anybody? You have to question that. Any man in his right mind has got to question that. When I see a guy over, he's not with anybody for several weeks, that's a red flag to me. It's not saying, that women are the main focus to come over here, but if you're a real man over here, that's just something that's going to come naturally for you. It's not something you even got to fight with. Especially you talking about living over here. Vixen's blog said, at Sunshine Shoulders, guys, if you want Filipino woman, you need to go to the Philippines. Meeting personally is totally different. And that's how I met my passport bro husband. Yeah. And, like I said, her husband has balls to say something to her in public. But you see Vixen's blog, she's a very attractive woman. 99 times out of 100, an expat is never going to say anything to a woman like her when they see her out in public. They're just going to look at her. They're never going to say, hey, I'm Calvin, but her husband did. And he ended up with her. So she's telling you from experience, but it don't make a difference. We're too shy. Beauty intimidates us, Vixen. We were just, that's part of our culture. No, really, when it comes to women, I'm not one of those. Now, I had a brother who was. He had the gift of gab with women. But it's so easy over here, you just don't have to be that way. I can go online right now and blah, 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 say a few lines, get face to face on the WhatsApp or whatever it is, and then go from there. It's really that easy because you're willing and she's willing. There's nothing like two willing participants, right? Two consenting adults. How easier can it get? I mean, they're literally sitting on there waiting for you to hit that notification or whatever it is. But I am when it comes to women like that. Yeah, that's right. He said, let them pick their own poison. I am. I tried that, and one of my friends got his Negro wake up call, and it pissed me off really. Because here the lady is, you don't have a pot to piss in, a window to throw it out. Man's, got generational wealth for you and your family. And you're going to say he looks like a gorilla. That pissed me off. So, yeah, I don't deal with that anymore. You're trying to, because see, I don't want to be stressed out over here with all of that stuff, man. See, that's why I really don't want to know the language 100%. Because if I hear something like that, it's going to piss me off. Luckily, Marilyn told me later on when everything was over with that, smoke came out of my ears when she told me. I was like, how dare her? Who the hell do you think you are, lady? We done took you all around these places that you would never go. in your wildest dreams, and you want to pull that? Hey, Kevin. He said, Calvin, you should do a video on how to approach women in the Philippines. Well, see, you don't have to approach them really. All you have to do, Marilyn told me what to do, okay? If you're somewhere, just like Steve, this is exactly what Marilyn said, if you're somewhere like at the bus terminal and you're sitting next to a lady, you can answer something so simple as, where are you going? I'm going to Cebu. Do you know where the South Bus Terminal is? Where do I get off the bus? That's as simple as it gets. It don't get any simpler. Or if you go into the mall, okay, remember, it's the women who are working there. These are the ones you want to, if you're going to flirt, you flirt with them. Because you don't know who you're getting when you know, they go to the mall like we go to a rock concert. We put on our best face, our best clothes and everything. And you just go there and you may ask her, where's Starbucks? And they're going to give you some, even if it's just the slightest hint, if they're interested or not, okay? And you think I'm playing, man. I went on my walk. I had just some gorgeous women, man, coming up to me, wanting to take my, taking pictures, right? And I mean, they were just standing there wanting me to pursue it. And of course, I'm with Marilyn. I'm not interested. But that's just how it is, that's the extent of really uh, approaching a woman here. That's really the extent of it. Hey, W Secret Success, thanks for that super chat. You said, Cal, Nikes aren't meant to walk 100 miles. No, I didn't. I promise you that I didn't even walk, man, maybe a couple of, maybe 4 hours in those shoes. But those shoes were bad to begin with before the walk even started. I went to the gym, right? And I come home and I see where the sole is separating from the shoe. I couldn't believe it. You're talking about being mad, man. I was hot. I'm still mad about it. No, but you don't have to, first of all, you really don't want to approach them. They're so bad. I mean, they're terribly shy here. They're so afraid of you, they're gonna run. Basically they're gonna run. Okay. But you get somewhere where you have something in common. See? But just to walk up to a Filipino and try to talk to her, I mean, she's gonna be so painfully shy, and she's looking around to see if anybody else is watching and all that, right? Yeah, see, he said, okay, thanks for that super chat, Dexter Dixon. He said, coming over, he says, in 1 week with a Filipino wife as a tour guide. First time over, but wife has made trips back. We'll spend 2 weeks in Philippines and one in Bangkok. Thank you for that super chat. Yeah, man. And see, that sounds like a great idea right there. You're going to enjoy yourself over here. Now, he says, what's a good walking shoe? I'm going to tell you the truth. Get that Brooks. They got one called the Beast. If you got wide feet like me, it costs about $130, probably a little bit more now. That's what you want, retired 2019. I mean, I walked 80 miles in them and didn't get a blister. My feet were not hurting like they were. I had those Merle on this time, which are very, very good shoes. They're waterproof and everything. But I think they're more for hiking and that sort of thing. But the Brooks shoe, and the reason I never heard of Brooks, I was all Nike, see, a lot of what's going on in America, and I read this. A lot of times we don't buy the best products. We buy the most popular products. Okay, because Jordans are not the best shoe on the market. Okay, or Nike and different ones like that. But Brooks, when you're talking about running shoe and walking, is a really, really great shoe. And I went to a place where they put you on a treadmill and the computer will see how your feet hit the ground and where your arch is. And then they'll recommend a shoe for you. And because I got wide feet too, and they recommended that Beast. And I haven't, that's what I should have got here. I got lazy and I'm paying for it, man. I'm really mad at myself. Yeah, he said Brook and Hoka are the best. Yeah, I had the Brooks. Yeah, are you welcome? Who is this? He said, Gerald, in many circles, you are called a homosexual if you don't have a woman and not declaring you getting a pee like Ray Ray and Chad are enjoying. No, we wouldn't go that far, but it's just that let's take you, for instance, Geechee Line. That's all you were talking about was women when you were on that other side. Now that you're over here, it's crickets. No one's called you homosexual or gay or anything like that, or fag or anything. No one said that. We're just saying that it goes to what I tell guys all the time. You always talk about, not you, Geechee Land, but me and on my lives, about what they're going to do, what they're not going to do, or what they're going to do when you're 8,000 miles away. It's easy to say that. But when you get over here and the rubber hits the road, it's a totally different thing. You know, it's not like you don't want a woman. You just can't get out of your own way. You don't know how to get a woman over here. But it eventually will come. But it's really, it's right. It's not America. But when it comes to, yeah, he's black. He's right. He said Brooks are designed for long distance running and walking. But when it comes to dating, guys, there's a game being played over here. I say it 1,000 times. Come over here and play the game, and you're not gonna have any problems. You're gonna be so happy. You're gonna be like, wow, okay, I know the game. It's being played. Okay, but at least I'm not lonely. I'm not being some simp. It's just the game that's being played. These attractive young women over here, they're not gonna just bend over backwards for you for nothing. You got to enter into that unspoken agreement. It's real simple, really. I mean, you're going to take care of yourself anyway, right? You're going to go to Baraka and different places anyway. Most of the hotel rooms that you rent are for two people anyhow. Okay, don't make it so difficult. Don't make it so complicated. It's not. If you're over here, you're having a hard time meeting women, get online, let them know you're already here. Hey, meet me at such and such place. Because now you can do that. You're already here. Ask the guard down at the desk. Hey, any women? Yeah, Jeffrey Chatter says, you got to play the ground game when your boots on the ground. Every area region is different. It is. He said, would you do a marathon? No, I'm not going to do a marathon, but the Philippines has a lot of mini marathons. They'll run them all together. They'll have like a 5K, 10K, half marathon, and marathon, all in the same race. And you just turn off when it's time for you to turn off. But I don't want to be. I don't want to start messing with my joints right now like that. See, I did all that before when I was 20 years younger. Now, will I do a half arm man? Yeah, I'm thinking about doing that. Eve Gabriel says, Mr. Calvin, I've seen videos of women in the Philippines talking just like American women. I tell men that a woman is going to be a woman at the end of the day, doesn't matter the country. Yeah, in a lot of ways, that's true. We were talking, me and Marilyn was talking about that. But over here, there's so many women. The culture's so thick over here. that it's not hard to find a traditional Filipino woman. That's what I'm saying. I'm not going to say a traditional woman. I'm just saying a traditional Filipino woman who is going to be, who's going to appreciate what you're bringing to the table. She's going to know already. You know, this is the reason why most of us get our women from the dating site, because we know for a fact that they date men on the date. They date foreign men, you know, and they're open for to play the game. See, when you're out here walking around, you really don't know, you know. But there, you know, and it's like it's really easy pickings, man. It is. I can't use another word other than that. I'd be lying. But anyway, is anybody having a problem transitioning from the hamster wheel to retirement? Because I didn't have a problem. I couldn't wait to stop working. I don't know what happened to me. I used to love to get up and go out there and set appointments and talk to people. And then one day in 2015, it was like pulling teeth, man. I couldn't get out of bed. I didn't want to get out of bed. I mean, you know, I have appointments, and I used to get appointments 80 miles away, one way. And I drive and, you know, get the sale and come back and be happy. I threw that out the window. I've crawled those last 3 years into 2018 until I came to the Philippines. I crawled, man. I literally crawled into the Philippines. So no, I didn't have a problem. I knew exactly what I was going to do over here. I was going to go to the beach. I was going to work out. I was going to ride my bike. I was going to enjoy the sunshine. 365 days of sunshine over here. And I was going to, you know, I already had a woman when I got over here, but I was going to have me a nice, attractive woman beside me. Sam Safari said, if you're not Filipino, don't do any marathons. The heat and humidity will hurt you. In the Philippines, you got to pace your activities. It's true. It's true. That was the hardest part of my walk. And Steve would tell you, the heat and humidity, it was extremely, it just takes all the energy out of you. And when I go to the gym, I'm the only one in there, Sam. I'm sweating like a hog. And because I still haven't gotten used to it yet. They hardly be sweating. They like, oh, I wish I could sweat like you. I'm like, well, you unfortunately, you're from the Philippines. I mean, you know, when it comes to that. But yeah, you're right. They're acclimated to it. They're born into it. And they just don't sweat. I mean, Merlin be working out so hard. I hardly have a sweat. Hell, I get on the damn elliptical machine for 10 minutes, which is all I do on that, just to kind of loosen up myself. And man, I'm drenched with sweat. And then when I start doing everything else, it's like everything is wet. But you're exactly right about that. Yusuf Amal Beef says, I'm in the middle of getting my house ready for rent. Applied for a passport and leave Canada. Anticipated to be in the Philippines 2 months ago, but my ex-wife keeps delaying me. I'll get there soon, though. Yeah, and what I would do, I wouldn't put all my eggs in one basket. The reason I was able to is because, remember, I'd been here. I'd made 25 trips here over the course of 14 years. So I knew, you know, that I wanted to come here. I knew what to expect. I knew what I was getting into. But a lot of guys, they just come right over here. You really don't know. You can't watch videos and do it. I wouldn't sell everything and come over here. I'd make some trips. I'd go to Thailand. I'd go to some different places. Because there's guys that come over here and they decided it's not for me. I'm going to Thailand. Or I'm going to Cambodia or Indonesia. And they've done that. A good friend of mine, he's retired from the Air Force. He just recently, the beginning of September 1st, he left Davao and went and moved to Pattaya. You know, he had been to Pattaya before. You know, he's like, hell, they have meet and greets every day over there. And that was one of the big things with him. He said it just got quiet over here for him. and it was boring. You know, he said the vow wasn't what he thought it was. Eamon Hogan says, I was retired from the rusty old hamster with 11 years before coming here to the Philippines. There's a transition going from hardcore corporate America to getting busy living and forgetting the BS. Yeah, it is a transition. But I think a lot of us make it out to be more than it really is. I mean, isn't the goal to stop working at some point, Iman? Anybody out there? I mean, y'all can put it in the comments. Isn't that why you're working and saving money and investing and everything? Because you have some number in your head where you say, okay, when I reach this point, whether it's years on the job or money in the bank, I'm done. I'm jumping off. I'm going to live my life the way I want to live it. No bells and whistles. Because, guys, that factory, I looked this up, man, because it was just something that hit me one night. I was in my bed. That factory and the penitentiary, they've got a lot in common. They look the same, them old drab concrete buildings, and you got all these bells and whistles, and you've got, they tell you when you can go to the bathroom, when to eat, what time you're supposed to show up for work, what time you can leave. They've got, the management is the guards, the uh, the uh, the CEO or whatever is the warden, and we're the inmates, the employees, man. It's just so similar to the penitentiary, man. And I don't know who wants to continue to work that way forever. I mean, you can find something more interesting than that damn job. I don't care how much you love it. Find something else you love. That's really having a one-track mind. Roland Mueller, he says the Philippines humidity makes me break out in a prickly heat rash every time I visit the Philippines. When I get back to Seattle, the rash disappears. Yeah, I just don't stay out in it too long because you're right. And believe it or not, I was sunburnt on all my arms doing that walk because we forgot to get the 130. And I said, oh, this 70 will do. No, it won't. At 70 that sun went through the 70 and went through all this dark skin of mine. It didn't matter. Tom Freeman said, do you know any expats with business over the cap? I do. The ones who are more successful have real estate. They've had apartment buildings and like that. Or they're renting condominiums and stuff like that. Because the demand is just so great over here. But of course, when you go up there in English City and all that, they got a lot of guys with those bars and stuff. But here, I know a foreigner here, he's doing really, really well with a bunch of apartment buildings. I used to rent from him. Those are the ones who are winning, not with piggeries and all that stuff. It's too much work. There was a guy, when I lived in Cebu, this is before everybody had a massage place. There's a black guy. He had a couple of massage places that were doing really well. And it's something that I'm thinking about doing here in San Carlos because there's really no official massage place where you could just walk off the street and go. There's some masseuses here, like the lady that comes over here. She's an older lady. She's like a quack doctor. She's really good. But she doesn't really have a business that you can walk into off the street because that's something that a lot of foreigners, we really like to do. Geechee Lang got he'll tell you that the woman's really good for 300 pesos. You can't beat it. She's going to come over here too. John says, I was a crane operator and don't miss it anymore. I remember I used to He said, Ernie, in what sense is dating easy in Vietnam? In my experience, Philippines is the easiest dating in the world for Western guys. Yeah, by far. Yeah, see, I was told that um, in Vietnam is quite difficult. It was nothing like it is over here. It's already set up over here. These women are smart. The system's already set up. I don't know if it can get any easier anywhere. I was so naive. I just didn't know that it was a game being played. Because I didn't come over here for a woman. I was trying to get away, but when I got on the dating site about 2 days before I came here, okay, I met two women. I came on over, but then when I came back, I got back on there, and it was just like I was so naive. I was like, wow. I was telling all my friends, man, these dating sites are different than what's over in America. I mean, these women really want to meet you, and they do really want to meet you, but for a whole different reason than what they want to meet you over there. But yeah, I can't see it any difficult than it is here. It's as easier. It's as easy as it's ever been, and that's why a lot of guys stay here. Patrick says, "How valuable is it to do Airbnb rooms in Cebu?" Very valuable. That would be what I would do. Like I said, the guys who are doing well over here are the ones in real estate. And how easy would it be to sublease? And I did a video when me and Merlin went to Sapalai Island, which is really nice. And I said 5 businesses that you could uh, earn money in. I mean, legitimately. And number one was subleasing. But you could only do it in places like Cebu, Manila, places where expats and tourists are. Otherwise, you're going to be wasting your money. That's why there's not a big Airbnb. There's no Airbnb really in San Carlos. They'll send you across the Sapaway Island because there's there's just no tourists coming here. Al Rogan, thanks for the super chaser. Calvin, how do you avoid rent scams? Some tenants that are moving rent the place to unaware people. Yeah, well, that's easy to do. All you have to do is you have to vet the owner, really. And I did a video on that. My experience here in St. Carlos is I've had 3 landlords. The first one was the foreigner and his Filipino wife. They got plenty of money. You call, anything goes wrong, boom. The second one she was poor. I guess she might have been on drugs. Every month she was trying to get the rent sooner and sooner. And then when we moved into the house where before we built this house, that lady, her family are multimillionaires. Same thing. But it's really easy. I mean, I would ask around. That's why I would stay out of those newspapers, guys. Quit fooling with them agents all the time. The best people to help you find an apartment or house over here is the locals. I've never used those papers. It's always been word of mouth wherever I am. And people like me, it's like I told you, every now and then I'll do a video. I'll show you an apartment when one opens up and they let me. There's a guy here, he's Chinese. He's got several, they're 10,000 pesos for 1 bedroom, fully furnished. Aircon, television, the whole 9 yards. And for 1,000 more, you can get Wi-Fi and cable. You're not gonna beat that, but it's word of mouth. What people do, we're too lazy. So we'll go online, we do everything online. This is how you avoid those rent scams. I would do nothing online with an apartment. It's too easy just to ask somebody. I would ask another expat who's renting somewhere. Hey, have they got any places? Who's your landlord? That's how you avoid that. Word of mouth, man. Yeah, you can own a condo. Yeah, click the like, guys. Yeah, Vietnam is difficult because of the language. Like I said, man, you have to show me a place where the quality and the quantity equals the Philippines. It's just, you're not going to be able to do it. Every time I go somewhere, to meet and greet or something, I just get more impressed by the women y'all seem to be meeting online over here. And I'll be like, man, these guys, boy, they hit the jackpot. Hey, Chi-Town, what's going on? When you're talking about the quality, no, I'm sorry. He says that at Hello Hi 2012, my Filipino friend recommends having 3,000 per month to live comfortably in Manila. Manila's more expensive. That's true. Now, do you need 3,000? I don't know. It's a lot of money over here, but you would be living damn good on 3,000 per month. I can say that because okay, I've got a friend. His name is CJ. He's got a channel. He lives in Manila, and he stays in his condominium is $400 per month, right on Rojas Boulevard. It's not one of those new fancy high-rise ones, but I stayed in the same one on my way to Thailand last year. It's right on Rojas Boulevard, right across from Jose Rizal Park for $400 per month. Now that he said it includes his utilities. I don't know, but even if it didn't, even if you had to add another what 8 to 10,000 for the utilities, then another 3 to 400 for water, then another 500 for food. You still you're nowhere near 3,000. But Manila has so many distractions. You're gonna want to go to the mall. You're gonna want to go to the movies. You're gonna want to do a lot of stuff. So yeah, it does get higher in Manila. I'm gonna be honest with you. When you're up there in Luzon, as you work your way down the Philippines, it gets cheaper until you finally in Mindanao, which the cost of living is less than any other place. I was in a nice pension house. I mean, this thing was brand new, and I'm talking about it was $10 per night. There was no hidden charges. It had aircon, hot and cold water, cable, Wi-Fi, and even had a restaurant downstairs. It was $10 per night. Those places are all over down in Mindanao. I was in General Santos. Gregory K8 says, when I started my job, I was already planning 23 years from then I was leaving. I stuck to my plan. It worked out perfectly. Even when life changes from my other half unexpected, I stuck to the plan. And that's good, man. It's got to be at some point, man. You're going to be like, well, I'm out of that. Sometimes health reasons force us out. But at some point, it's time to leave, man. It's time to do something different. Everybody has some type of dream, right? Is your dream to work at Ford Motor Company for the rest of your life or whatever you're doing? Because some guys over here, they're nurses. Yeah, I forgot. There was a guy, David Williams, was at the meet and greet. He's a retired nurse from Arkansas. And he loved his job, but hell, he just got to the point where he said, man, I worked enough. I got enough money. It's time to do something different. Now he's traveling around. He was here in Small Fry Beach Resort. He came to the meet and greet. He's funny, you know. He said he ran his he had a 23-year-old woman, but he ran off, he said. He's come to several of my meet and greets, and he brought her a couple of times. Well, one time. And he said, and she's a bombshell, but he said she's just too young. He said, he said that's one piece of advice he took from me. He said I never moved her in. He said I got her what did he call it? A room in a boarding house, a pretty decent boarding house. He said because at the end of the night it was time for her to go home or whatever. He said that was the only reason he was able to get away from her. He said if he'd have moved her in, like a lot of guys do, it's hard to get away when it's time to get away. And that's another reason don't move them in, because if it don't work out, she's still in the boarding house. You can pack up your stuff and leave. She come knocking on the door, you gone. But if you're in there with her, man, she gonna be on you like white on rice, man. You're gonna be able to move. It's gonna be ugly if you try to leave, and you don't want that over here. Gerald Wilkinson, learn how to fly a small plane, steer a boat, cook, wine tasting, help in a homeless shelter, volunteer in a hospital or other settings, help with the elderly, go to the beach, find something fulfilling. It's not hard to do. But some guys, in the first few weeks, months, they are kind of lost because they wasn't planning. They didn't do good planning. Now's the time. If you Geechee Lion said he planned for a year. So his money's right, he's over here now. He's not, he told his family, he tied up all his loose ends, and he's here. Some of us, we don't do that. So we come over here, we have no plan. We're just going to let it unfold, as it may. That's not good. I wouldn't do that. But if you do that, it's easy if you got that woman at the airport for some of you guys. See, some of you guys, that's what you're missing, but you don't want to admit it. You're missing the young, attractive woman, tour guide, company, because TGI Fridays are going to shut down pretty soon. The bars are going to shut down. You got to go home to that empty condo or that empty house, man. This is not a good place to do that over here, man. Frank L said, wasn't David Williams in St. Carlos City at one point? Not this David I'm talking about. And I don't even know if Williams is his last name, but his name is David. He's from Arkansas. This guy's funny, man. He's funny, and he's a retired nurse. And he's come to several of my meet and greets, and he brought his girlfriend, well, his ex-girlfriend, with him one time. She's 24, had legs built like a brick house, and I was kind of shocked when she said she was 24. I thought she was a little bit older. No, she was 23. But he said, yeah, she's 23, always on that phone and giggling and all that. And, you know, he couldn't he couldn't deal with it. He said he ran off. But he said she's been blowing his phone up. But he probably end up back with her because, she had a body, man. She was built like a brick house. Yeah, he said he's here for good. That's why I told him to tone his act down a little bit. If you're going to be here for good, you don't want to get off on the wrong foot. You know, you can offend people over here real easily. And hell, he just got here. You don't want to do that. That scathing, he gave Mawani a scathing review. And I was shocked because I was like, well, how did they even know? Because the first comment was from the hotel. And I was like, he must have told them he was a vlogger or something. Because how would they have found that video? Because I'm sure he's not on the algorithm yet. So he must have told them, but they made a beeline straight to that video. And the first comment was theirs. And they shot back at him. They refuted what he was saying. But even if that is the case and you're dissatisfied with something, don't put that online, guys. Not over here. You know, talk to the management. Or at least, wait till you leave. Um, I mean, I wouldn't do it and still be staying there. Yeah, don't do it. He said, what about regular guy? He travels all around. He's a younger guy, though. I mean, he seems to know what he's doing. He's been living overseas before. I think he lived in Korea. Yeah, he's got a real popular channel. You know, a lot of guys can relate to him. You know, he's living the life they want to live when they get over here. See, that's the whole thing about YouTube. You kind of gravitate toward people that you can relate to. A lot of guys can relate to him. That they're like, okay, I'm single. I don't want to live with anybody. You know, I want to explore the Philippines. You know, and deal with different women, and that's what he's doing. And you know, a lot of guys are like, man, I want to do that. Yeah, yeah, I know you got good intentions. You don't mean bad. It's just that you always got to remember where you are, Geechee Land. You are in the Philippines. You're not in America. We can't be so blunt and out, you know, like that. Hey, Dan, he said, Calvin, so happy for you. You created a goal. You achieved the walk. So happy for you. Thank you, Don. It was tough, man. And once I made that commitment, I had to finish it. I had everything to lose, nothing gain. I had nothing to gain. You see what happened when I finished that? Nobody cared, but I care, and eventually a walk like that is going to pay dividends on down the line for me. But had I not finished that walk, every hater, every troll, every doubter, even some supporters would have said, man, I knew you weren't going to be able to do that. You bit off more than you can chew. But when I put my mind to doing something, man, I do it. Kamal said, how many channels speak English? What are you talking about? Um, yeah, it's best to, be low key as if that you can. Yeah, yeah, I know you're making the adjustment, man, but you said you've been watching us for 3 years and you come over, you making every mistake and you're allowed to do that, but it's like you never watched the video before. That's all I was saying. But yeah, you're gonna learn because you got good intentions. Yeah, it's hard. It's almost impossible. Frank L says it's very hard for Filipinos to give up their Western lifestyle once they've had a taste, like Rufina is finding out. Her, among others, a lot of times, when we come in here, man, you know, it's like we're on the outside looking in, but we can start moving around pieces and kind of messing with nature over here. And I talk about that all the time about when we meet these women, they have an edge. I mean, because you need it over here to make it. I mean, it's hard over here. The struggle is real. But what we'll do is we'll dull that edge. We'll start getting involved with them, taking them to these nice places, put them in these nice condos and stuff. And then when it doesn't work out after a few months, now what? Now she's got to go back to that situation that she left. It's not easy to do. Not only that, but now the family, the friends, see, you thought you was this and that when you was with the foreigner. We told you not to do it. They're taking a big risk. What? Mama. Where'd she go? What happened? Mama, she did what? Here, drink some water. She did what? What did you do to Booby? Drink that. Yeah, it's tough, man, to swallow their pride and go back to that. And even if they don't have to face that, man, imagine if, okay, like I'll take, for instance, my wife. She had never had a hot shower before. Then all of a sudden she got addicted to hot showers. Never slept on a real mattress before. Never had aircon. Just the simplest things that we have that we take for granted, they've never had. And they get accustomed to that. So then when it doesn't work out, well, in her case, she was there for 10 years. She already got the visa and everything. That's why she stayed over there. JT said, I read a statistic that the Philippines is the most emotional country in the world. What's that mean? What's that mean? Golden Gate. Now, this is a good question, and this is one that came through my mind yesterday. I'm gonna answer this. He said, Calvin, are there a lot of single women at the St. Carlos gym you and Maryland go to? The truth is no, because now they'll come there by themselves. Most of them have foreigners behind the scenes because it's expensive for the typical Filipino. That's why a lot of them don't come there. And it's only if you're not a member, it's 150 pesos a day to work out. Okay, that's a lot. That's about half their salary here. So when you see them there, more than likely there's a foreigner behind them. He's sponsoring them. They got a foreigner boyfriend. And I learned this, just from talking to Maryland, because you see, there's a little young girl that comes there. She's nice looking. She looks to be somewhere between 18 and 21. Well, hell, she's already had a 42-year-old and a 26-year-old foreigner. And, all of them, they're dealing with foreigners because, I guess they're trying to improve and stay on top of things. But mainly it's because he's sponsoring their gym membership. They can't afford it. So no, it's not a lot. Or actually, still a lot of couples there. Because you got to realize, man, the Philippines has a growing middle class. And this is what I don't think a lot of foreigners coming over here for the first time, they realize. There's a lot of Filipinos over here who have money, man. I mean, they're doing really well and they're not rich. It's two people working in the household. They both have decent jobs. And they got they're living the type of lifestyle over here that you're living over there. I mean, it's a lot. I mean, a whole lot. And it was really growing to the lockdowns. I mean, this is what you have to understand, but this is only if you around. See, I stay around the locals. I've always stayed around the locals. This is stuff you'll pick up on. Everybody here is not struggling, man. You'll be shocked. You be like, I mean, there's a little guy that him and his girlfriend, they're young, but they're both like call center agents from their house. And he's wearing brand new Jordans. He bought the gym guy a brand new pair of Adidas, real stuff. This guy couldn't be no more than 20 something years old, him and his girlfriend. They're getting paid. But to answer your question, there's not a lot of single women there. They all have somebody. Born to Travel, Ernie says, just took a ride from Dumaguete to, I forgot how, Himalalu. Road is narrow in some places. How you survive that walk is a miracle. Well, I always make sure that I left early in the morning and I face the traffic because you're right, it can get dangerous. But remember, I'm walking. And a lot of places, you're right, there is no shoulder. It's a very small shoulder, but for the most part, there was a shoulder all the way. There was no shade, but there was a shoulder. But yeah, it's funny, Golden Gate, you're asking me that because I was thinking about that yesterday when we were at the gym. I said, I bet you every last woman in here probably has a foreign boyfriend because those are the only ones you're going to see in there. And now that I'm thinking about it, majority of them do, especially yesterday. John Morrison said, me and my wife completed our goals we talked about before we got married. It's good to have some type of goals, man. You have to have a goal. You can't just work forever. one thing to do is if you say, hey, I'm retiring in 3 or 5 years, I would start toning down on my material purchases. I mean, I would get rid of all that stuff. I would get maybe one credit card, and I would cut my expenses in half if I could, or 2/3, or eliminate them altogether if you can. Because a lot of us, our lifestyle dictates how long we work over there. We can't retire even if we want to. Or when we retire, we still got all these bills. You know, like my sister, she still had a certain amount of years left on her mortgage. So after 2 or 3 years, she had to go back to work. I didn't want to do that. I knew right away when I crawled in here, um, I knew there was a place that I could come and heal and do the things I wanted to do, and not cost me a whole lot of money. I went from earning 100,000 and barely making it over there to 30,000 and living like a damn king over here. I like that. I like that exchange. And now, I get up at 6 o'clock only because I want to get up at 6. I could stay in bed till 12 if I wanted to. It's just I eat whatever I want to eat. I go wherever I want to go. This is what I want to do with my life, man. This is when I was little. I mean, the sun is always shining. I mean, I'm living my dream, and that's what I'll be trying to convey to other people. Have a dream, man, and then you work your way toward it. Then one day you're gonna wake up in your damn dream. That's how I am. I woke up in my dream over here, man. I love the travel said, you're so right. My T-Mobile customer service call center is in the Philippines. I work from home. It says, Mingistu, I'm sorry if I'm messing this up. Waldemarium says, is there a place to play golf and tennis? Is it too expensive? Is it cool to do outdoor stuff? Yeah, it is. Now, there's no golf course here in St. Carlos, but where's the golf courses? It's up near Bacala. I know they've got several in Cebu, Boracay. It's all over. Golf is big here. Tennis is everywhere here. We've got a brand new tennis center over here that's covered with clay courts that you can play basically 24 hours if you like. And there's always somebody over playing. They even converted, while they were doing that reconstruction, they converted the basketball courts into tennis courts. Tennis is big here. Yeah, so yeah, they usually play early in the morning and then toward the evening, but they're tennis junkies over here. They play in the start heat over here. Yeah, what's the point of time without beer? That's crazy, but people do it. Internet Explorer says, do you think most expats in the Philippines could retire if they didn't have Social Security? But what would be the point? I mean, I don't understand that question. They do have it. That's why they're able to retire over here. I mean, that's a big part of it. I mean, what did they work all those years for? Most people probably don't have enough savings, but you know, I I don't have Social Security. I have a passive income with my insurance renewals, and yeah, Booby's knocked out. When she starts whining like this, because Booby gets up earlier than me, and then the money that I earn from my YouTube. But I think a lot of guys that I meet over here, they seem to be, they were successful over there. You very seldom do I meet. Remember, I haven't met everybody. I met, I meet small fraction of people, but the men that I met over here, man, they just unbelievably successful. I mean, really. I mean, I've met, and this is something I didn't meet in my regular life in America. I've met several millionaires over here. These are guys who outright have millions of American dollars who live here in the Philippines. I come back and forth over here, who can live anywhere they want to live. I mean, and the rest of them, I mean, what? Retiring from the military at 35 years, what did Scott Fortune say? He did 32 years in the military. I mean, these guys ain't no chumps over here. And I think when y'all watch these vlogs of these guys in Dumageddon, man, a lot of these guys over here that you're gonna meet, they got their shit together. Okay, look at that what's that guy? Him and his wife down in Dumageddon built that big ass house. I was just looking at one of their videos today. I forgot. Damn it. I hate that too. I met him at a meet and greet. These people over here ain't no chumps, man. They've got it together. You don't move 8,000 miles away and be a chump. And the chumps that come over here, they get their head handed to them. They see it's not so easy as a lot of people make it seem. People who come over here, man, go on, let me see, what's it called? An expat in Bohol. Look at the house he built over here. But it's not only that, look at the lifestyle he lives in America. You be like, what in the world does this guy do for a living? And he's like I think he's Filipino, but I think he's he's either born in America or he became a national, what they call it, citizen, a natural citizen, right? Man, he's got just an unbelievable house right on the ocean he built in Bohol. Probably one of the nicest that any expats ever built over here. I mean, I don't know how much money he spent. He had to spend, I'm going to say, probably $300,000 or $500,000 for what he's got. Solar, everything. I mean, it's crazy. So yeah, a lot of these guys could live over here. Don't look at these YouTube videos and think they define the expats that are over here. And remember, you got Chinese over here, multimillionaires, Korean multimillionaires, Japanese. People come to the Philippines and make it their playground. They don't come over here and struggle, man. And this is a playground, man. Okay? If you don't hear nothing else I say, that's why people come over here. The weather and all of that, man. It's just paradise. They don't come over here to struggle. You see guys, like I watched the video, Every Man Has a Story, where this guy, I guess he's looking for help or something, waiting for the U.S. to help him. You see stories like that, but even he said he had a 401k in America. He just couldn't access the money. But most of the guys you see over here, man, they balling. I mean, really, the ones I'm in contact with, they got money, man. And I don't know where they got it, but they got it. They spending like there's no tomorrow. Yeah, he said when I was paying into Social Security, I was putting the max into it every week. That's our money. That's what I'm saying. What kind of question is that if they didn't have Social Security? That's our money. We paid into that system. I mean, but to be honest with you, man, a lot of these guys over here, man, they balling. They have a whole lot more money than I've got. I mean, I'm really impressed. Did you see that house you dirty puppy built over there? I showed y'all that. I mean, you gotta have money to build stuff like that. You can't just be coming over playing, man. Most guys aren't playing. They just don't have a YouTube channel. That's all. When you come over, you're really gonna be you're gonna be shocked at some of the people you meet. They got it together. Lost Soul says, I like to save money. I consider myself to be like Scrooge McDuck. Well, it's one thing to save money. It's not that I'm not gonna cheat myself. Cornelius Mack, he's one of them successful guys I'm telling you about. He said something that was profound. He said, Calvin, the guy's always coming to me with business ideas and stuff. He said, look, I'm in the spending stage of my life. He said, I'm 75. I'm not trying to invest. I'm not trying to save. I'm spending now. And he spends, he don't cheat himself. Brand new SUV, beautiful condominium right across the street from Ayala Mall. He's living his life, man. Those are the type of guys I see over here. I don't see guys penny pinching and stuff over here. And it's the wrong impression that we're giving, as people with YouTube channels, because you see me, I just built a little 1 million peso house, and I'm not living extravagantly, but it's people over here, my guy, you wouldn't believe it. They are, okay? They're living extravagant lifestyles. W says my first job was in a supermarket. At 16, I've been contributing all these years. Yeah, that's our money. I don't. That's why I told you. When I'm 62, I'm fortunate enough to still be around. I'm taking man. One lady in the comments says, "I'm glad I didn't take man." Yeah, because you're probably working. I'm not technically working anymore. I need that money. That would really be another blanket of security for me over here, because I don't plan on going back. And if I did, I couldn't live anywhere near the way I live over here on 1500. I mean 1700. DJ Lord Buck says, "Tell us about the bar girls camp." I don't know any. I think they shut down the bar here. Merlin said there used to be a bar here. See, I don't. That's not my scene, DJ Lord Buck. I don't. I've went by the bars and seen them, but the only bar I've ever been into was Philly's Sports Bar in Cebu when we did the meet and greet, and we were upstairs. The action was downstairs. That's the first bar I've ever been in the whole time I've been in the Philippines. I don't do that stuff, man. You're asking the wrong person. But they're here. He says the puppy still do. No, he'll be back in December, he said. Yeah, Gerald Wilkins says each nation is going to determine the standard of living. What will a person do to prepare for it? Training, vocational education, college, university studies, military careers, and so many other ways. But no, I don't do the bar girl thing. I mean, you don't need a bar girl over here, man. Even though, some of the most attractive women are working in those bars, that makes sense, right? And some of the most beautiful women come from Samar. And that's the poorest region in the Philippines, and they end up in the bars. Al Rogan said 2 clowns in Dramageddon were having a road rage fight in the middle of the street, takes out cans. Yeah, I've seen that video. And that big guy, he's lucky. The other guy was probably old. He's hitting the guy in the face. I'm like, come on, man. Is it really all that? But these guys know who to pick on over here, man. I mean, that's sad. And see, we watch videos like that and we think it's that's what's really going on around the Philippines with expats, but it's really not. We get just a real minute version of the Philippines through these websites. You can kind of get a general idea of what life is going to be like over here on the website, but not in detail. Yeah, you were right there by Phillies when you were staying at the ABC. Yeah, Frank. One of the first foreigners whoever ever met in the Philippines in 2009, he's getting money from his. He told me about that years ago. It's a few steps you have to go through. I just got to make it to 62 first. Once I get to 62, then I'm looking at all my options. But I mean, that's really not a big. It's not really a big deal. W says, I like watching your Social Security at age 62 video. I'm over 5 years away. I look forward to that liberating feeling of retirement. Can't imagine what it feels like. It's great for me, man. It's just Ray. This guy, he's got a bubbly attitude, man. He's a young 63. He's got everything. He just don't have the young, attractive woman next to him. And I think he's in his own way. And he says, you know, he worked for 38 years. And see, that's what I'm saying. You think that type of guys out that I meet over here, successful guys. He sold his interest in his business, you know, and he's like, his business was his life. And now he's like, I can do anything I want to do. And he finds it hard. For me, I don't find it hard, but it makes it a lot easier. I'm not saying go out and get a woman, bring her in his house. I'm saying it makes it a lot easier when you got company over here. Somebody who knows the Philippines. Who knows it better than a Filipino? Especially attractive young woman you got. You got everything else. Now you put that cherry on the top. Literally, the cherry on top. You rolling now. You know, that's why Geechee Lamb was eating in my kitchen yesterday. Some of the best adobo. I had 3 women in there cooking. So I said, see, this is why you need a good woman. Then you'll have her mother cooking for you. And, you know, this is the life, Geechee Lamb. Ask him, didn't I tell him that? I'm trying to teach him why he's over here. Trying to show him, you know, the steps, really. Because that's part of it. I didn't come over here to be by myself. He's sitting there eating it. This is the best food I had since I've been in the Philippines. I know it is. That's designed by purpose, Geechee Line, to live like that. Okay? But that's the missing link a lot of guys, you know, don't have over here because they're trying to be tough guys. They're trying to be these alphas and listening to the wrong channels, man. You know, don't underestimate the influence that a woman has on your life. I'm sorry, man. You know, but I got to get off here, guys. It's Sunday. We go to the grocery store and we're going to take the kids to the little game room when Booby wakes up, I guess. But it is a liberating feeling, man. It's free. It's freedom. I can do whatever I want to do, really, because I don't even have a lot of money, really. But I got more money than bills over here. It was designed like that. Geechee says I endorse the adobo. It's delicious, man. They make it different all over the Philippines. She puts pineapple chunks in hers, and the sauce, you could put it over pancakes, man. It's so delicious. I mean, really. And he's sitting there smacking his lips, licking his fingers, you know. And I said, see, this is what you want over here, you know. Yeah, the right woman. You get the right woman over here, man. You on your way. Okay. But thank y'all for your super chat, super stickers, all your support, man, for Sunshine Show. Let's hit the thumbs up if we don't have 200. Help somebody today. I'm going to go over here and plug in this bar stick and see if I can watch this Charlo. And I just don't think he's big enough, but I want him to win. I'm always rooting for an underdog because I'm trying to figure out how did Floyd Mayweather beat this guy, Canelo. Well, I'm going to try to watch that, guys. So take care, everybody. You too, Thomas.